Welcome back to the Agriland Pavilion here at the National Ploughing Championships in Rathanishka in County Laois, where we are coming to the end of our live stream for this 3-day outdoor event. And I'm joined for a final discussion about everything that has happened over the past 3 days with our own Agriland staff, well, some of them anyways, that have been out and about over the past 3 days, bringing you to the heart of the ploughing action. Richard Halloran, our journalist and tillage specialist for today, Aisling O'Brien, a senior journalist, and Breffney O'Brien, our beef technical specialist. Thanks for joining us, guys. I might go to you, Richard. We are all here for the ploughing.
Absolutely,
and
yeah.
of course that's such a significant part of the National Ploughing Championships. The World Ploughing Contest is on here. That's surely a highlight for you, is it?
Absolutely. I had the opportunity to get out to the plots on the 2 days, the Monday in fact, before this event got underway, to see the guys practicing, and then on the Wednesday, got out to see the horse ploughing. Absolutely unreal. The enthusiasm of these people, the skill of these people, the horse ploughing in particular. I mean, the setting was beautiful, and I would make the point that these are the National Ploughing Championships, and more people should actually take the opportunity to get out to see these people. They are real masters of what they do.
I mean, I'll put up my hand and confess I have come to the ploughing since I was a child. And I'd say 90% of the times that I came in the past, I didn't go, I never saw an inch of a plough. And a lot of people don't. But
Yeah.
it's, I mean, I've even, seen some of the ploughing and seen the pictures and the videos that our own team have got over the last couple of days. Yeah. And it's such a spectacle to see.
Truly. I mean, it looks great on television or great on video. But, I mean, the experience of seeing these guys in the flesh, so to speak, is just so much more.
And these are the top guys from around the world and indeed Ireland who are working with a plough on a tractor and getting it so precise. But there's also a lovely traditional Irish spectacle in looking at the horse ploughing.
Truly, yeah. And as you touched on the point yourself, I mean, Ireland stands out. The heritage we have in terms of ploughing, the skill of these people, the heritage that has gone back over generations within so many families, within so many areas. I mean, it's an amazing, it's breathtaking.
Breffney, did you get down to see the ploughing?
Yeah, so I also got out to see the ploughing, Stella, and like that we've seen a variety of it. There was different classes, different competitions. So another one, that would have stood out to me, like Richard said, was the horse ploughing and the characters that are there. I suppose in all the classes, as well as outside the horse ploughing, the characters you meet out there in the field, the passion, the enthusiasm that's involved. And it's really great to see. And also another thing I noticed was the amount of young people that were out there with a great interest in the horses and the horse ploughing, and I suppose their awareness of keeping this tradition alive and the importance of it and the heritage and its association to Ireland.
It's great to see so many young people here. I mean, over the past 3 days, I'd say every moonshore in the country knew that half their class was going to be missing because ploughing was on. There's so many young people here, Aisling, isn't there?
Yeah, it's great, and it really shows the generational renewal in the agriculture sector as well, that we have young people here that are interested in all aspects of course they're here to get the free pen and the free biros and the ponchos and anything that they can get, but it's great. We've had an awful lot of young people coming in here into the Agriland Pavilion over the last couple of days as well, and that social element to the ploughing, I think, is such a special aspect to it, because I think a lot of the time farming can be quite an isolating occupation, and you go to the mart maybe once a week, and I think coming to the ploughing is a great catch-up opportunity, and it's also great for young people if maybe the school tour, as you say, is brought here, and it shows the future of agriculture, and it shows that young people, there is a future here. We see innovation, we see there's such an array of distractions here for young and old alike.
Just to pick up on what Aisling said there as well, like the ideas, the new ideas and some of the different stands, like what they had, was just, it's great to see it, and young people coming through, bringing through new ways of doing things, sharing thoughts, ideas. So it's really a great learning experience as well for everybody who comes to the ploughing here.
Absolutely, the innovation arena here, when you see the ideas that people are coming up with, and I'm talking, there were teenagers there that, you know, we interviewed a girl there who had come up with the fence to fence, you know, a way of protecting when crossing over a fence, and she's still in school. So the future of agriculture is very bright. And Richard, I know that this is something that you constantly chat to me about, because we hear a lot of complaints, a lot of the challenges that face agriculture. But I will say one thing for you, Richard Halloran. You are always a glass half full when it comes to agriculture. You see the positive always, and there's so much positive in agriculture in Ireland.
Oh, truly. I mean, yeah, and I'll never stop believing that. But underpinning all of this is a very fundamental fact, and that is agriculture is a real business. It's worth multiples of billions of euro to the Irish economy. I mean, that's a fundamental fact. And when you have that, and I don't think the general public realise the scale of the sector and what's going on within it, and the role that agriculture plays in underpinning the entire food processing industry here, the drinks industry here. It is just so fundamentally important to the to the future of the Irish economy. But from a sort of a mood music perspective, certainly I've been coming now to the ploughing for 15 years, and the one theme that I've picked up wherever I've been is the fact that agriculture has a positive future. I mean, and one particular sector, it's the one that I suppose take most interest in from an Agriland perspective, and that is tillage crops. I mean, truly there is tremendous scope to grow cereal production and all the other aspects of tillage.
And the spotlight has really gone on the tillage sector, particularly this year when we're in an era of uncertainty around food security, indeed across the agriculture sector as well, and we just realise the importance. I think finally coming into mainstream public view is the importance of farming. It's not just a way of life, it's a way of keeping us alive. We are human beings who need food to survive.
Yeah. And I don't see there being any downside to agriculture moving forward. If you look at all of the challenges that are facing Irish society, the society around the world, climate change, agriculture, whether it's in Ireland or in other countries, will be fundamentally important to sorting that issue out. And then obviously you've touched on this issue of food security. Well, heck, no one else is going to grow the food but the farmers, or produce the food but the farmers. So I leave Ratheniska very upbeat, very buoyed from what I've seen and what I've heard.
And Breffney, what else has impressed you about this event? We haven't had it for a couple of years. I think there was much anticipation ahead of it. What else impressed you?
I think, Stella, a thing that I really noticed over my 3 days going around stands and the different areas of the ploughing was that there's people here from all walks of life. So I've met people. So we have plenty of farmers here, okay. I've met people from towns, from cities, people who have never been on a farm in their lives, and they come down to the ploughing just to get a day out, you know, see the trade stands, see what's on offer, and of course meet and chat to people. And I think that's really interesting. And one competition that I personally find would underpin all this is the Certified Irish Angus Schools competition. So the presentation of calves took place yesterday down at their stand here at the ploughing site, and you know, you had students from all different backgrounds. You had some students from cities who knew very little about agriculture before coming on board in this competition, and I really thought that was interesting.
Fantastic. What about yourself, Aisling? Anything else stand out of note to you?
Absolutely. I think Richard made a very good point in Breffney as well about the urban-rural divide and that perception of the urban-rural divide, because it is very relevant, especially in the backdrop of the emissions targets and the climate debate that we've had so intensely over recent months. And a lot of farmers out there, and I'm sure you'd both agree, farmers do feel vilified, you know, in that climate debate. And I think having a major event such as the Ploughing focuses the general public's view on the farming sector and sees a farming sector that perhaps they might be surprised at how progressive, how forward thinking and how willing to be part of the solution and not just folding their arms and saying, well, you know, we have to produce the food and we're not going to change. There is a willingness within the farming sector to change. We see the innovations that are coming through with all of the different companies as well. But also we've had politicians making a lot of big statements in relation to emissions this week. Taoiseach and Minister for Enterprise, Trade and Employment, Leo Varadkar, was at the Fine Gael tent this week as well, and he said that farmers aren't entirely responsible for climate change. And that's a very important message to go out to the general public as well, because there has been a real imbalance in general media terms in terms of how farmers are perceived, what they're doing on the ground. I mean, the use of protected urea, low emission slurry spreading technology. We're also hearing Frank O'Mara joined us here on the stage. He said that food additives, that technology is coming on board. There's huge innovation and huge research going on all the time, and farmers are willing to buy into that. And also, I think important to note as well, President Michael D. Higgins pointing again, he's taken the opportunity at the National Ploughing Championships to talk about the fairness within the food chain and to protect our farmers and to protect our food producers and the value on their product, and that they get paid for the work that they do, and appealing to consumers as well to maybe walk past the cheaper produce and to force the retailers to value the produce and not just to be below cost selling all the time.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Breffney.
And just to pick up on what Aisling said there, like, I really think that the message from farmers attending the ploughing is that they're ready to take on the challenge of tackling climate change. You know, we've seen a lot of measures being widely implemented on farms already. So we have, as Aisling pointed out, the low emission slurry spreading, the protected urea. You know, farmers are looking, and it was evident during the ploughing here, farmers are looking at different options, different things that can be of benefit to their farm and will also help to reduce emissions.
That's true, and I think as well, farming and the idea of farming in Irish agriculture is that it is just, you know, the lad down the road who has the big dairy enterprise, or else it's the lad who's part-time beef down the road or has, you know, a flock of sheep, and that's it. Ploughing championships really put that to bed. When you see the immense amount of businesses that operate in the agricultural sector, they operate here, they operate in Northern Ireland, they operate across the border, you know, obviously the UK being a big export market for us. It is not a small little country life industry. It's one of our biggest, if not the biggest, indigenous industry we have in this country. It's one of the biggest employers we have in this country. If the agricultural sector was treated with the same sort of policy and gravitas, maybe, you know, with the powers that be that, for example, the medical or pharmaceutical industries were treated with, I think there would be a very different approach to how new changes are brought into this particular sector. What would you say, Richard?
Yeah, I just want to pick up on one point. You said there that agriculture is an all-Ireland industry. You didn't use those words, but it is. Yesterday in particular, every second voice I heard were guys coming down from Northern Ireland. There were bus trips galore coming from that part of the world. And if I was on the organising committee of the National Ploughing Championships, I would focus on that very strongly, because there is a latent pool of people wanting to come here if they were receiving the message.
I think one of the highlights for me, and it's just a very small highlight, was you know, just how big the National Ploughing Championships is, how extraordinarily expansive it has become. It's an entire entity, a business enterprise within itself, and then how local it is as well. I mean, you know, you had who will be the next Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar, you know, a politician going around the crowd and, you know, doing his walkabout and mobbed by people. And then a very quiet moment in the NPA headquarters just across from the Agriland pavilion here, where he's sitting, you know, in with Anna May McHugh in the Porta cabin with, you know, a cup of tea and a doily and a nice queen bun, you know, and it was such a silent, quiet moment where they just got to, you know, chat like two ordinary people, and it's all very local. The committee here is fantastic. They've put on you know, people will always have complaints about this or that, small little niggles if they were caught in traffic, if they were caught, but you don't put on an event of this stature and this, you know, expansive nature without having some headaches. There's only so much you can do. I'm sure there was plenty of people caught in traffic coming from Electric Picnic as well, you know. But what I will say is that the organising committee of the National Ploughing Association really do have to give themselves a pat on the back. The lads in the high vises, the lads in the car parks, you know, the lads who are going around collecting bins, the security guards, you know, they're all doing their part for very little, and they're doing it for the love of agriculture, Aisling, is what I'm trying to say.
They absolutely are. It takes a village, and I mean, everybody that we've met, I'm sure the lads would say the same. The guards on point duty every morning, getting people in and out of the site, this is a huge operation. With 115,500 people on day 2 of the ploughing, an enormous record attendance. It shows the appetite, obviously post-COVID as well, but I suppose it kind of points as well, you were saying about the local element. I think this is Europe's biggest outdoor event, but there's some quintessentially Irish country rural pursuits that should be kept going. One highlight for me, I was lucky enough to go kind of north on the site earlier on today, and if people were watching the live stream, I went along to the welly throwing competition.
Oh, yes.
Now, Breffney's here beside me. Would you be able to throw one of those now?
I do well to throw it as far as you threw it now.
Well, we don't have time today, we are running out of time. But there are fantastic events like that. You know, even you know, the dancing, the jiving. They were jiving in the rain this morning. It did not bother them.
Tommy Kay was blaring out and they didn't care.
This is exactly it. The fashion show, you know, the brown bread making, it's all the ploughing, and it doesn't matter about the urban-rural divide. Everyone is interested in it. But we've had a fantastic time here at the Agriland Pavilion throughout the last 3 days, and we were here even before that last week as the ploughing competition itself started. And we thank you for tuning in, listening to us. We hope you enjoyed our coverage. We hope we got as much content as we possibly could to show you what it's really like here in Ratheniska over the last 3 days. We couldn't bring you everything. We tried as much as we could to keep it as diverse as possible. And I just want to say thank you to all of the team in Agriland, the technical team, the writers, the video camera guys, the commercial team, the people helping us here in the tent and the pavilion, and to Cormac Farrelly, of course, who organised all this. Just to say thank you to all of you for the work that you've put in, because it has been phenomenal. We've got such a response from the audience, from the crowd here over the last 3 days. They've been, you know, absolutely thrilled. They're really engaging with digital news, digital agriculture. They like having that information at their fingertips. So just want to thank you for tuning in, and don't worry, we will be keeping you up to date with the results of the World Ploughing Contest later this evening, and stay tuned to the Agriland website, because we'll be keeping you updated on everything else that you missed over the last 3 days. Thanks for joining. Take care.